Happy Devils Saturday! This is the
It's
Let's
Saturday.
Go Devils podcast post-game. I'm your host, Sam Will, here with Scotty at SiriusXM Liquid Metal. Streaming live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Today's podcast is titled Better Effort, but Same Results. Devils lose 4-2 to the Pens. I like to say they lost 3-2 to the Pens because I think that goal wasn't a goal.
I kind of looked like double zeros to me on the clock, but NHL just feels like giving one to Sidney Crosby, I guess, there. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Sam. We'll do the unhappy recap here because there is actually a lot to talk about in this game. A lot of lineup changes. We'll go through all of that, but let's just get through the recap real quick. First period again, Devils sleepwalking. Seems like they can't get ready to come out for the game. Jeff Carter gets his 10th, and it's all the big names. Yeah, a lot of big names here for the Pens. Gunsel, Letang, CC. Carter gets his 10th. Then McCann gets his 13th. Brian Rust gets his 20th, and all of a sudden Devils are down 3-0 into the second period again. But all of a sudden, once again, the halfway point of the game goes, and all of a sudden they start playing a little bit better. I don't know if it's because the Penguins are going to sleep or if it's that we're actually starting to play better. But our boy, Jackie Hughes, put his 11th home from Sharon Govich and Will Butcher. Nice shot there. Lucky bounce. However, you got to capitalize on those lucky bounces, which we just missed at the end of the game. But Jack Hughes puts home his 11th. Good things to talk about with Jack Hughes as well. Steve Cangelosi brought up a nice point with him that we're going to get into on the broadcast. Into the third period, Devils playing better. Pittsburgh may be asleep, but Devils playing better. Miles Wood gets his 15th, his team-leading 15th goal from Ryan Murray and Damon Severson, both of them. That's their 12th assist for both of them. And then again, the Devils made a game of it. Once 3-1 going into the third, not so bad. You get one goal. That's the old classic, next goal is huge. Because if you go down 4-1, but if you come back 3-2, then, you got a little game of it going on. And we saw right at the end of the game, Nico Hischier crash in the net, just chips the puck like I'm talking like maybe an inch wide of the post. Like it was just kind of knuckle puck in. Yeah, it looked like he hit it on the inside part of his stick there. Tough break. I thought that was going in when I was watching. But either way, 3 stars of the game. We'll talk about it. Brian Rust gets his first. Jarrett McCann gets the second. Jack Hughes comes in with the 3rd star. Shots on goal for the Devils, 14-9-13 for a total of 36. The Pens, 15-13-9 for a total of 37. Face-offs, we were atrocious. I think Nico Hischier was the only one that won a face-off today. That's what it seemed like. Nico was at one point like 70%, and the rest of the team was just like, nah. But we finished 39-61% in favor of the Pens. Once again, we give up a power play goal. We're 0 for 2 on the power play. Hits was good. Did see a lot of hitting out there. 29-26. Studenich got leveled. Nick Merkley stepped up. Nice little scrap there. Devils with only 3 giveaways. So better effort, same result, but there were some positives to talk about here, Sam Wu. But before we get there, I got to say, I when I turned this game on, and I'm looking at the lineups. We got no Siegenthaler, COVID protocol. No Ty Smith, all right, injury. No Yanni Kuokkanen, injury. Blocked a shot with his hand, the other day. You're thinking, okay, here we go. Nolan Foote, probably going to call up Kevin Ball or Nikita Ahoyuk or Riley Walsh or something like that. We get Will Butcher, Connor Carrick, Matt Tennyson, and Colton White. Not exactly what I was expecting. I was pretty annoyed to start the game. I'm like, hey, Nolan Foote, 2 games, 2 points. Properly sit you down into the press box and stop playing. I don't know. I feel like he's one of those guys. If you got him up, he looks like a long-term solution at a certain position. Play his ass, like get him experience. I'm a little confused
Scotty,
by that.
Scotty, maybe this is what it is. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
auditioning for the expansion draft for unprotected players.
Oh, I
That's the
think
only thing I
Andres Janssen has done a fantastic job of solidifying that role as our unprotected young forward. I mean, again, and that's another thing too, man. I'll give it to he hustles. He hustles out there, but he has got no finish whatsoever, and I see him up on like the top, moving up to the top line to take Yanni Kokanen's place, which we got to talk about him as well. But I mean, like, man, I'd much rather see Nolan Foote there. So I was a little pissed, like seeing these lineup changes. Mackenzie Blackwood back in. Hey, maybe we got a goalie that can stop a shot. Okay, that's in our favor, not being down 5-0 in the first period or 4-0 in the first period. So I was a little annoyed, starting the game. Like, what are we waiting for? There's 9 games left in the season. Colton White, really? Like, I feel like he's just kind of been like an AHL prospect, and that's it. He's going to be like an AHL type of defenseman. He's never going to break that bubble. So I was a little confused. I was a little annoyed. I'm sure there's some reasoning for it, some smart GM reasoning for it behind the scenes that I'm not thinking of. But as a fan, I started this game like just annoyed already by looking at the lineup cards, and then down 2-0 after 1, you're just like, here we go again, like here we go, but they did work it, and they had a better effort. They didn't completely collapse. Like I said, Jack Hughes getting that lucky bounce. It really started to turn things in a different perspective. And oh man, this power play. Whew, did you hear? I don't know if you heard the stat that Kanji rolled out Bryce Salvador, I think, rolled out on the broadcast, or maybe it was Kanji. I don't know. But with the power play is literally operating at like 3% when you calculate the shorthanded goals that we have given up in like the recent games. Like that is just, I mean, that's
anytime you use the word net in math or anything like that, like in football with the punter, averages 51.5 yards per kick, but net's only like 30, or even in this case, 3% of, I don't know, efficiency on the power play. That's bad.
Yeah. No, I mean,
bad.
that's atrocious. And I want to say hi to everyone out there on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Yeah, I mean, I see other people had the same frustration as us coming in like, why? But where is Nolan Foote? Why is he not in the lineup? First game. I mean, I get it. You can see he is still learning, but if you have him up, throw him in there. I mean, like, especially today, when you do have a bunch of these guys out. But I do want to talk about some positives. Mackenzie Blackwood.
Sorry, there's a fly in here, and it's annoying me. So if you see me doing hand waves, it's not our normal show signals, but I'm just trying to swat the fly away.
I will keep that in mind. There was some positives today, though. Mackenzie Blackwood being back in net looked. It didn't look terrible. Didn't look like Wedgwood and Dell have looked like in the past couple days. So that's always a positive. One thing I started thinking about, Yanni Kokanen and Igor Sharangovich and Jack Hughes. I've been always so busy trying to compare Hughes and Hischier to other teams. I started thinking about our own teams, like where do these guys really fit in? And I think it was Bryce who was actually talking about Yanni Kokanen having the most primary assist on the team. He kind of reminds me, if you're starting to compare him like to former Devils, I really think like Yanni Kokanen is kind of like a Travis Zajac, almost like a Jason Arnott, like a Dinas Zubris, where he's going to do a lot of that grind work in the corners. And much like, I mean, I know they're not the A-line now, but much like the A-line had Eliash, and Sakura. Right now, you got like Hughes and Sharon Govich, who are the more flashy guys, but Kuokkanen has really been that guy to do the dirty work in the corners, and I don't know where Yanni and Igor are going to end up. That'd be a hell of a third line with like a Jesper Bratt, working with those guys there, but I mean, once Alexander Holtz come up, Hughes and Holtz does seem like a deadly combination. We'll see where it all ends up in the long run, but I just started thinking about Yanni Kuokkanen's game, and it really does compare in my mind to, like an Arnott, a Zubris, a Travis Zajac. Because you even think about the ZZ Pops, Zach and Jamie were the big guns on those weapons. Travis, I was actually looking at his stats before. Travis has only broken the 20-goal mark twice in his career. I know it may not seem that way because he's always been playing on that top lines, but he had 20 goals once, and then I think he had 25 that dreaded year, the 2008 season, where oh my God, I thought for sure. I was looking at some of those stats. Langenbrunner had 29 goals. Elias had like 38 goals. Parisi had 45 goals. We had such a team that year in those damn Carolina Hurricanes in that game. Oh my God. Oh, I'm not even going to start talking about it, but I just started looking at those stats from that team, and I was just like, oh, that was such a good year. They were so dominant. But Travis, was never really the big, a goal scorer. He did like that dirty work, setting up and giving room for, Zach and Jamie and Jason, for Patty and Peter, Zubris for whoever we put him with. I know Zuby was playing a little bit more on the bottom lines there, but he played with Kofi there for a while too, I think we got really something good in Kuokkanen and Sharon Govich. Wherever they end up on the team, really, and I'm not trying to compare, them to Elias and points wise and everything. I'm just like making a general comparison about them when I was trying to think about former Devils, that, look the same. I'm really, because you can see without Kuokkanen, Hughes and Sharon Govich looked a little lost for a while today,
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think really when you compare them to the A line, the only difference is, Jason Arnott being
a lot of
like
success.
a monster, a monster of a player, whereas Jack Hughes is more of a finesse, highly skilled, highly, with speed.
Well, Hughes would be your Elias. Hughes would be your Elias, and let's face it, guys, and that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that Jack Hughes is the point producer that Patrick Elias was throughout his career. Patrick had different totals. There were years where he broke 40 goals and 30 goals, but there were other years where he was only in the 20s, but he would have like 45, 50 assists as well, still producing like 60, 70 point seasons. You look back at that, you look at some of those numbers, you're like, wow, I forgot, what a solid piece it was to have Patrick Elias for all of those years, 60 points, 70 point seasons, like that goes a long way, I that's really what we're hoping for Jack Hughes, is to turn into that guy.
And the fact that Sharon Govich and Kuokkanen were not first rounders, they were in later rounds that were picked, Kuokkanen coming from Carolina, and that I thought was a very good trade. And Sharon Govich, I think he was 5th round. That gives me a little faith on the Devils scouting staff because I've been ripping on them the last couple of days.
They totally deserve it. And I told you, I was pissed. When we started the game today. See, looking at that lineup, it's really, Samuel, I got to be honest with you, like halfway through the first, I wasn't even really paying attention. Like I was just walking around, like doing some other things around the apartment, like checking my email and everything like that. And because they started playing better in the second. And that's when I tuned back in when they actually started giving that effort,
Yeah.
They deserved to be ripped. I wish I was on Thursday because I was so pissed on Thursday after that game, that Pens game. I mean, that was just.
Oh, I you know what? To tell you the truth, I probably said a couple of regretful things Thursday. I was suggesting that we should rename the Devils the New Jersey Apollos because we're a hedge fund, and at the Prudential Center we should have the Dow Jones Industrial going around the rink on the digital display, and the Devils should be, if they want to get fan engagement, be a publicly traded company.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I can have my NJD, stock symbol ticker, ready to go. So when the Devils are up, be like, when the Devils lose 5-0, but they're up $1.25. Hey, it's a win-win.
So lots of good hockey talk last Thursday, I see, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was trying to stretch it as long as I could.
One other thing that I actually wanted to bring up too, and this one was from Kanji, and I know a lot of people, and rightfully so, he's still learning. I've seen improvement, but I know some people out there still seem to really feel that Jack Hughes is not playing as well defensively, and I think he's playing a lot better. And Kanji brought up this point today on the game, and I know it's not a stat. Maybe it's because I was a teenager in the 90s and the stat was huge then, but I still hold some weight in plus minus. And last year Jack Hughes was a minus 26, and this year, and don't forget the role Jack Hughes has been playing. He's been playing the top line, against other top lines as well, big time minutes and stuff like that. Jack's only a -2. He's only a -2 this year.
Big improvement.
And this team is friggin' terrible. It's worse than it was last year right now. Like we still had Travis and some other veterans, Pubs and stuff like that.
Jack Hughes, he back checks. When he and sometimes when he gets caught deep,
he's not getting knocked off the puck as much.
Yeah,
he still is back, but he's growing. He's growing. Yeah. He's getting bigger. Next year, he's going to be even bigger. And, he's got to work out those legs and the hips and, that lower body. So he's even harder to knock off the puck. But I know a lot of people are like, blah, plus, minus, rah, rah, rah. Listen, we all know one thing that we can agree on. The Devils are a terrible team. So someone who's playing tons and tons of minutes like Jack is, and he's only a -2, that to me shows, some definite improvement there. Not just with his offensive game, because, he's put up, it hasn't been that much more numbers yet. I know his goals and his assists, he's career highs right now, but it's not like overwhelming from last year. So
I tell you what,
something to look at.
If you're -2 with this team, -2, and you can finish the year maybe even within range, that's a huge accomplishment. That's a huge accomplishment because I'll tell you
what do we got? 9 games? 9 games left, I think.
9 games,
nine games left.
Buffalo is closing in on overtaking the New Jersey Devils.
I like how every year we go down into the number 1 pick. Is it just me? It's like that's the year where that the generational player is not really available,
Yeah.
Can we get the or maybe they'll find a way to give it to the Rangers again this year. Maybe it'll be another the Rangers will get into the playoffs somehow, and then they'll still find a way to give it to them as a surprise, whatever the hell it was last year, wild team or wild card, whatever. Don't even get me started about that stupid lottery. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We got to play the Sabres. 2 more games? That might be the crucial series of the year. Let's try not to pull a Jets if that's what happens there. Just put in. Sorry, I was going to say just put in Dell. For those games, I shouldn't say that. That's mean. I shouldn't say that. I know Aaron's trying. It's also that the team is terrible in front of him, but boy, him and Wedgwood did. Oh my God, wow, that was it was like Blackwood being in there today, it was just like, oh my God. I just felt like every shot was going to go in. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's Mac Black. Okay. He'll at least stop some of them, So,
Yeah.
But like I said, positive things did come out of today in the second half of the game. Seeing Nick Merkley stick up for Studenich was nice. Nico right at the end. You see his game just, improving, but just got that knuckle puck on the inside part of the blade there, like really close to the shaft of the stick, and it fluttered. It was literally like an inch or two wide. I really thought that was going in. So better effort, like you say, but same results for right now.
Scotty,
Give
YouTube
me
Live.
Nolan Foote.
YouTube Live is chatting away. And I didn't want to interrupt because...
What did I say?
No, I've never seen this name before. Donnell Weaver, right? Devils gotta stop being down 2 to 3 goals at the start and thinking they are gonna come back because you guys are not a team like that. What else is he writing? Does this ownership of Harris and Blitzer even care?
Oh boy, here we go.
At all. And
I'm thinking this is just a burner account for Sam Wu. I see what's going on here. We got a Sam Wu burner account. If they're talking about ownership, I know that's what's going on.
And then John Michael writes, "I'll just die what Corey Massasak motto: just play and stay healthy." I agree. Yes. Owners need to speak up. Oh,
yes, please. No injuries, please. That's the last thing I want to see.
Well, you know what? This is all I ask for from ownership group. Just like what Dr. McMullen did. This is what Dr. McMullen did before the 87-88 season. He wrote an apology letter and sent it out to the fans. And he stated what they're doing, what was the problem, and what they're going to do to rectify it. He really meant what he said. If Joshua Harris and David Blitzer, hand wrote and then, make digital copies of it, hand wrote.
Would you accept it from Fitzy instead, or does it have to come from ownership?
Has to come from ownership. Has to come from ownership because it goes beyond Fitzy because, Fitzy just inherited a mess when he came in. I mean, basically they forced one of his good friends out, Ray Shero, and put him in the fire. And I think he's done a fantastic job so far, given the circumstances. But
here's a question for you: Is it better? Is it better that they stay out of it and they let Fitzy do their thing instead of I don't know, Jeff Vanderbeek, who forced Lou into making a Kovalchuk signing that crushed the team for years to come? Isn't it better to let them just stay on the sidelines and let Fitzy do their thing? Fitzy do his thing?
It's been almost 10 years already since they took over the team?
Well, I understand that, but we all talked about the Taylor Hall situation, and we all know that was the issue. They tried to same thing. Kovalchuk try to sign a big monster like that, and they are going to want to be in the playoffs, and you have to jump ahead. And we were starting this, and then we jumped ahead, and we traded some prospects, and now we're stuck starting over again, and it sucks. We're 3 years behind where we should be because of one season, one MVP season, and one. Didn't we get swept, or did we win one game in the playoffs that year? I think we got swept by the Lightning. I mean, they
no. They won one game.
Oh, okay.
Game
Thank
3.
You. One game playoff. Okay. We won one playoff game. So you're telling me there's a chance. So all of that, threw us behind. So I understand your frustration with the ownership. I get it, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, pun intended. Isn't it better that they stay out of it instead of forcing us to make some sort of big signing like that? I don't think Lou wanted to sign Kovalchuk to that massive deal. Do you? I think that was, pressure put on, sell some tickets, get a big name in here. We got to win because we got to sell this because the ownership, blah, blah, blah. Harris and Blitzer haven't really done that.
that was a different time. I mean, you got to think about the pressures that Vanderbeek was under. He moved the Devils at a time at the height of the housing bubble, and then
I mean, they're dealing with a pandemic.
Yeah,
they're dealing with a pandemic where they lost the season and everything like that. I could argue that this is even worse than those times that Vanderbeek had. Vanderbeek was probably in a better situation than Harrison Blitzer.
No. Because I don't think you know what I'm talking about. I think, in fairness to the owners, basically Vanderbeek practically mortgaged everything to try to get that Stanley Cup. That Stanley Cup win that didn't happen, that last gasp, but he didn't have the money to do it. And then by the time the transaction was made, where Harrison Blitzer bought the team, they were basically back at ground zero, even though Marty was still on the team. Yeah, they still had some parts, but you don't remember?
Yeah, but they made it to the Cup Finals.
No, they made it to the Cup Finals. They made it to the Cup Finals, but a lot of Devils fans would argue that the cupboard was dry. It was gone by the time Harrison Blitzer took over the team.
Right, because we weren't restocking the farm system. We were just, bringing in these retreads. That was what Lou got into, the Camillaris, the Michael Riders, and all those. That's why, but we did, don't forget, Harrison Blitzer owned the team when we went, and then they brought in Ray after that. Am I correct in that? Weren't they the owners of the team for the one run? Our ill-fated run to Los Angeles? Wasn't that their second year in ownership? Or first year?
No, that was Vanderbeek. They came in after the lockout. They played a half a season, and then boom, afterwards, it was the 2013-2014 season. That's when they owned the team.
Next season.
The next season. And that's where the goal song changed and everything changed, and then Marty's contract wasn't renewed, but really Marty wanted to try something else, and then ever since then it's just been the status quo has been, hey, let's make some bucks, and why spend?
Well, they're not making any bucks because they don't got a good team yet. I don't know. I'm actually happy that they stay out of it and let Fitzy do his thing. So
all I'm asking is an apology, because this is unacceptable, Scotty. This is unacceptable. I mean, honestly, I just want a freaking apology. I don't want them making decisions. I don't want Harrison Blitzer making decisions. Actually, you know why? Because if they did, we'd be worse. Look what they've done so far. Hey, their marketing is great. Hey, they're fun on social media. Hey, the players can actually tweet. Okay, that's fine. But at some point, it's like, hey, you're missing one ingredient to this whole madness. Winning. That's all. That's all I have to say. John Michael has a lot of comments. I got to read this. Scotty is the most relatable of the Devils podcast. Let's Go Devils podcast. And he says Sam looks like Sam's looking like he's losing some weight. Well, thank you very much, Michael.
Oh, no wonder you wanted to read that comment, huh?
Oh, let me tell you the reason why I'm losing weight. Because tomorrow,
the Devils losing?
No, because tomorrow, down in Philadelphia at Chickies and Pete's, it's Chico at Chickies. And I've been starving myself for the last 2 weeks. Now, kids, don't try this at home. I'm just kidding around. I've been starving myself the last 2 weeks for that moment of Chico Eats, Chico at Chickies. Tomorrow, sometime around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, Chico and I will stuff crab fries in our mouths and just talk Devils hockey while we gnaw on some lobster tails and chicken cutlets.
Chico Eats at Chickies. Check it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I hear the guys from the Hockey on Tap podcast are going to be down there with you as well, hanging out.
Yep. And also, apparently, Bernie Perrant, his daughter, is hanging out too. Kim Perrant.
Very cool.
She's a friend of Chico's. So I was like, yeah, more the merrier, Chico. More
absolutely.
Bring him on in. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure she's got some good stories as well. So
Yeah.
check it out tomorrow. And
Yeah.
you know, I know I'll be on for the post game again afterwards. But I'm gonna try and check you guys out from where I'm gonna be in Los Angeles on Sunday morning. Well, it'll be morning time for me. So but very, very cool stuff. Make sure everyone gives that a watch and a listen tomorrow.
Yep. So I just had a shameless plug there, Scotty, because it's a big day tomorrow. That's why I was losing some weight. Got to impress people, you know. As I
making some room for those crab fries.
Yeah, just like
crab
that.
Fries, they're filling. They're filling.
Yeah.
You know, you make the mistake, you eat too many of the fries instead of the crab. You know, you gotta get all that crab.
Yep. Exactly.
I had some good lobster fries. Oh man. Well, now it's been a while, but there's some fantastic events on Labor Day out here in Los Angeles, and woo, lobster fries. Some good stuff there. But anyway, tomorrow, Chico eats at Chickies.
Yes. So I guess tomorrow, we'll try to sneak in post game and then our 9 p.m. Eastern, or do you think that's going to be the same podcast?
Oh, it's probably going to be. Oh, that's right, because the game starts it's an odd 6 p.m. start tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So that's 3:00 my time. All right. Yeah. I guess that'll be about the same thing. So maybe that's what we'll do, is just see if we can start early or just start a little bit later on the pod. We'll see exactly what time the game ends. But if it's within that 9 o'clock hour, we'll just do it all in one, I think.
Yeah. Well, Scotty, I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad I have my support system because last Thursday I was my mind was wandering the entire time. It's like sell the team, buy Doge.
After that game on Thursday, that was so maddening. That game, like at least the one before, they made that miraculous comeback with like the 6-pack of goals in the third period. There was nothing on Thursday. It was crap. It was crap hockey, like all the way through.
I'll tell you off air, but like last Thursday personally was such a bad day, and then just add on this on top of everything else that I had to go through, and then I had to go solo. I kept it together. It's kind of like
that's because you're a hockey podcast producer, Sam. Will you never miss a shift?
Yeah, as what Corey Massasak says, just play and stay healthy.
And Benny, we don't know. That's what everyone's been wondering. Where is Nolan Foote? 2 games, 2 points. Put him on the bench. I don't understand. Don't understand that one. Very, very hopeful that we see Nolan Foote in the lineup tomorrow against the Flyers. Very, very hopeful.
I hope so. And we'll be back tomorrow live at Chickies and Pete's down in South Philadelphia with the great
Chico Eats at Chickies.
Yes. Tons of surprises, tons of fun. We'll have an eating contest. We'll stuff our faces. That's what we do here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us.
And then they'll try and talk with a lot of food in their mouth. Oh, that makes for great radio.
Yeah.
Great radio there, Sam Wu.
Yeah, I'll have to. Hey, it's all about ratings, baby. It's all about ratings. I'll have to practice the Heimlich maneuver, have Chico sign a waiver beforehand as we start to chow down.
Man.
The things we do on this podcast, right? Entertaining, trying to numb the fact that
the pain.
We could be the worst team in the NHL in the next couple days. Just trying to numb the pain.
Overtaking the Sabres, baby. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you're gonna stink, you got to do it right and go all the way.
You got to do it.
Go all the And now watch, we only get like the 8th overall pick. Go watch after stinking it up. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, see you tomorrow. We're going to have probably double, maybe a triple header Sunday.
Maybe a double shot. Definitely a double. We'll see. Maybe a triple if you're lucky, but definitely a double. Boom.
Yep. Till next time, let's go Devils.